I'm Joey.
I'm Darian.
I'm Wiley.
And I'm Kyler.
And welcome to the Lightpole Podcast.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Lightpole Podcast. Yes, back. We can finally say that.
Right.
First and foremost, disclaimer for spoiler warnings. Even though in this episode we're not going to really talk about anything spoiler heavy, this is going to be all past movies, Marvel and DC. But just in case. And then second on the docket, thank you. From each of us, we really want to say thank you for all the love and support that we received on our first episode. It really blew us away. I know personally it blew me away. I believe last time I checked, we had over 200 views, 24 subscribers. Like that's amazing. We did not expect this at all for the first episode. So thank you to all our friends and family. And if anyone else has something to say.
Yeah, I thought I was really surprised when we hit 100 views first. That caught me off guard. I didn't expect to hit that. Then 150, and we've been counting all weekend. And for most people, like 200 views obviously isn't the biggest thing in the world. Like I used to make fun of YouTubers who got 200 views. But when you're doing it and we're doing it for fun, seeing it at 200, 215, it's really cool. And it just shows how much support we have from the awesome friends and family.
In a week too. It's not like we've been up for that
And then
long. And
overnight,
we
it was
the platforms that we're on also expanded. So now there's way more ways to listen and stuff like that and watch the YouTube video. So it's really awesome to get that kind of support from all our friends and family.
Yeah, definitely.
It's true.
Because we are. Go for it. I'm sorry.
It caught me off guard when we were at 150 and it just shot up to 180 in a matter of like a few hours. I went to bed. I was like, oh, let me just check real quick. And I woke up. I was like, 180. I was like, whoa, jeez. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
We posted it on a Saturday and woke up the next, I think Sunday, and it was already at, I think it was 101 or maybe 2 days, but
something like that.
That first day was awesome.
I think by Sunday, afternoon, it was already at 80 or 87 or something like that. So that's really awesome. And again, we're only doing this for fun. It's not like we're getting paid for this or anything like that. So to get that much support for conversations that we would have anyway, we just decided to record one day.
Yeah, because these are literally conversations
cool.
that we have as a friend group all the time. So, and then and we're talking about views on YouTube, but we are also, for those audio listeners, you can catch us anywhere you find podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. So yeah, we're not even counting those views or those listens, but it's incredible.
Yeah, it was super awesome. And we're recording this before episode 2 of Mandalorian. So that's why we're not going to be touching on any spoilers for that episode. We're not going to be talking about it. Today is strictly DC versus Marvel. We're not even getting into Star Wars or anything like that. So
that's not going to be a regular thing, though. This week is an exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week we'll touch quickly on episode 2 and 3 of Mandalorian. It's a quick recap on 2, get into 3, and then get into whatever topic we have after that.
There we go. Ooh. So I figured a really cool way to start this off, and Joey, I want to go to you first, since you were the most requested to speak after the last episode. I want to know what superpower each of you would have.
Super speed.
Oh wow, super speed.
Straight into
speed.
Yeah.
Now, why?
Because not only can you get stuff done really quickly and you're moving at incredible speeds, but also the benefits of having it, such as the health regeneration. Regenerate very, very, very quickly. Being able to burn off stuff, the amount of calories you burn off. Yeah, you stay fit.
If you have super speed, you regen health. That's
I didn't think of that.
I think it depends on what universe the power set. Like if it's like the Flash.
Yeah, because every universe handles speed differently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking in terms of Marvel, we saw Quicksilver, eat a bullet and then gone.
It wasn't just one bullet. It was like spoiler warning.
Like 13.
He wasn't fast enough.
Quicksilver died 10 years ago. So if you're listening to this now, just heads up.
Let's throw that out there. If you haven't seen every Marvel movie and every DC movie up to this point, there's going to be spoiler warnings for that. Like if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, or Civil War or Justice League. I mean, I don't know what you're doing here or doing in life in general because those movies have been out for years now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we haven't. This is the first year that we haven't had a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, since like what?
Since
08?
2009.
So
Or 8.
8. Yeah. So you definitely had time to catch up if you haven't seen anything. So
yeah, if you haven't seen Tony die, then I mean,
that's what we didn't want to do.
God.
That's what we didn't want to do. All right, so you said super speed. Wiley, what about you?
I'm gonna go one that's not very popular, and if you guys copy me after this, then you don't have a mind of your own. It's definitely telekinesis. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You'll see.
That.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. So honestly, I had thought about this. This is now it's gonna sound like I'm copying because of what Joey said, but mine was health regeneration, like Deadpool or Logan. Only because
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like in life you're held back by a lot of things because you're scared of getting hurt or scared of doing something. But if you can just regen, shoot, I'll be jumping off cliffs into water from like 500 feet. I'll be racing. I'll be doing a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
We're talking like extreme regeneration.
Well, yes,
like immortality.
Like a broken bone takes like a day or two.
Instead but still, I'm
like instant.
I'm talking like Deadpool, like that kind of,
So you'd be immortal.
Invincibility would be a better thing because you wouldn't want to be immortal. That would just
not
that's
immortal.
I feel like there's too many downsides to having health regeneration for generations.
I guess, yeah. You see all your loved ones die. You see,
Look at Wolverine. I mean, first of all, the Wolverine movie. What happened?
Tell him to stop being a pleb.
Oh, yeah. Tell them to stop dying like humans.
Yeah, it's their fault.
The Wolverine movie, the one with Liev Schreiber and Will.i.am.
Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine Origins. Yeah. That movie was a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
But but it had some really good scenes. And I think that opening scene with him and Sabretooth going through the wars from like Civil War.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the best scenes in any Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it just showed how depressing it could be when you see generation after generation the people you love die. That's like, I would never want anything like that. Like Wolverine is so depressed until Logan.
That's why he's so angry all the time.
So he's so angry, he's
cranky,
drinking. Yeah, it's like
you just can't remember.
Yeah, that too.
So I'll go next. My superpower would be to predict the past.
That caught me off guard completely.
Joey's gone. When I asked this question, I looked up worst superpowers to see what were the dumbest superpowers. That was one of them. Another one was to become invisible, but only when people close their eyes.
I can't.
Wait, so that's actually listed as a sucky power?
There's gotta be, has to be jokes. Like, these are jokes.
Yeah, they're not
no
in
way.
any comic books.
Well, yeah, okay.
But if I could really have one, it'd be to have Silas's power from Heroes to absorb
other people's powers.
Yeah.
So you want to be Kirby?
Essentially, just a little bit more slim, like Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
Okay, so now would that be like you absorb it and you keep it permanently, or you have the last one that you absorbed? You maintain that?
No, I think I'd keep adding on to them. That's what Silas did, right? For those who saw Heroes.
That's just too much power.
Heroes isn't in my my tool set here.
Okay.
So.
Are you talking about
season
Silas?
1? Oh, what did I say? Silas? Sorry.
Yeah.
Siler.
Yeah, it's Siler.
Yeah. He didn't.
Season 1 is amazing.
Absorb them, bro. He murdered them for it.
Well, yeah, you had to like kill them and steal them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my superpower would be to touch them and take it from them.
So you're a rogue now?
He's just making
rogue. Yeah, I'm essentially rogue.
Oh, but Rogue doesn't
rogue
keep the power. He kills. She kills them. Yeah.
Okay, then stop suggesting that, Joey. I'm not rogue.
She doesn't mean to kill them. She just, whenever she comes in contact with touch, it's just she absorbs, life
force or whatever. Yeah.
I remember that scene when she was with Iceman in X2, and she like almost killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be a really cool superpower. I'd want to accumulate them, and just by touch, nothing else.
Okay, so basically, keep adding on.
Overly powerful.
Yeah. Now the downside to this would be if if no one in the world had superpowers, then
That's what I was
it would be useless.
useless.
It would be useless.
Well, I mean, you could do it like skill sets.
I guess you can.
Learn
Yeah,
things
you could
really
touch a
quickly.
carpenter, and all of a sudden you're this master carpenter or something.
I don't need none of that, man. That's weak.
Or
Be the
I
most
saw
talented.
another one that was.
Be the most talented man on earth.
That's true. I mean, I don't know
you
what that
you
would
really
get me,
like
but
that person that like doesn't that
Everything.
ignores personal space.
You'll be handy
Like,
manny.
always touching people.
I would be Bradley Cooper from.
Limitless.
Limitless.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
what I would be.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Oh,
Kyler?
All right.
babe,
Kyler, you're up.
hang on. I just got a latte. Okay.
At least it's not in a wine glass this time.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, those were a few comments I got. They like
Yeah.
the ginger beer in the wine glass.
Yeah.
See? Yeah, bring some class to this.
That's gotta be.
I
That's gotta be a
never-
statement.
Well, that's
I
what
guess.
I.
Right? What you trying to
Bump
say?
down to 20%, Kyler. You're down to 20%.
Anyway,
All right, Kyler's
Uh,
turn.
yeah. So should I explain why I'm last and why these joke was funny?
Sure.
Sure, go for
So
it.
we received a text a few hours ago from our wonderful host Darian, asking us to think about what our favorite superpower would be, and I immediately answered the question because it wasn't really a question to me. I've always had that idea in my head, and I got a lot of flack for it from the guys.
Yes, because the
Wiley-
text said, "What would your superpower be? Think about it. We'll discuss it tonight live."
Hey,
That was the text.
whatever. I read the first part and I got excited and I answered. Okay.
Okay.
So Wiley's original answer is my actual answer. It's telekinesis.
Hmm.
And anytime I saw that in any movie, whether it was X-Men with Jean Grey or Star Wars, that was just always like really, really cool to me. Pretty much just be a Jedi
Now, telekinesis is lifting things up with your mind, right?
with your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously different universes
11.
have like different,
Chronicle.
True.
ideas. And now
Chronicle.
I would
Yeah, I love that
personally,
movie.
It wouldn't even really be the Star Wars version. It would be Chronicle because
You can
it
fly.
comes with the power of flight.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
just feel like that's really cool.
That movie's
I-
awesome.
That movie is amazing.
That movie gets a lot of flack, but I love it. Yeah.
Even the way they did the whole flying scenes with like
Yeah.
the drones and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness, dude! The Michael B.
Mhm.
Jordan.
Yeah.
was
I'm not
every-
going to go into spoiler territory with that.
Yeah.
But you know how they
Well,
actually
because
did it?
that's a movie that maybe not a lot of people have seen because it was
Exactly.
a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more obscure. But
Mhm.
you know how they actually did it?
I'm going to
Flying
assume it was
thing?
strings in front of a green screen.
No, they got drones and
They flew.
got like cardboard cutouts
Yeah.
of like
cool.
human figures on them, and they had them flying around. People were like legitimately getting
What?
freaked out. They're like, the heck was that in the
Yeah.
sky? And they were like, nah, it's for a movie. It's for a movie. But yeah, it was like, so there's legit things like in the sky. It's not CGI or
That movie is found footage done right.
yeah.
Like, I think that and Cloverfield are probably my favorite found footage styles.
Let's not get into Cloverfield right now. I'm saving that for next week.
That'll-
I'm saving
yep.
that for next
Yeah.
week.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I understand.
So
Yeah.
yeah, telekinesis is my power by far.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. That's cool. There's different limits and stuff like that depending on the universe.
Mhm.
So I guess we could just jump right into our first topic, which would be the Marvel movies versus the DC movies.
Are we gonna also get
I-
into comics a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That is definitely on here. I think we can all agree that Marvel movies are better, far superior than DC movies. I don't
That's a
think there's any
unanimous
controversy there.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a few numbers here because I was like, I want to break this down by the numbers in terms of MCU. Yeah. So
Carfax.
yeah.
Enlighten me.
So because I want to just prove, okay, I already knew we were all gonna say Marvel was better, but I just want to prove that it's not just our opinion. That's pretty much the popular
It's a
opinion.
fact.
It's a fact. Yeah.
It's a fact.
So I'm looking at the top grossing DC movies. Correct?
Wonder Woman.
Okay.
No, number one is surprisingly Aquaman.
Told you.
Right?
Okay,
Hey.
wait.
Okay.
Before we get into it, are we talking the new DC universe, like from Justice League forward, or is this including like
Man of Steel
OG
forward.
or Man of Steel? I should say, yeah, Man of Steel forward,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is this like Dark Knight Rises, the Nolan trilogy.
I'm pretty sure
even with Nolan's movies, Marvel still wins. But
yeah,
I think we just start with Man of Steel.
So that's what I was going to touch on. So, for example, their top grossing movie is Aquaman, right? 1,147,000,000. Good turnout for a DC movie.
Definitely.
But it's not even their staple superhero. You know what I mean? Like when you think DC, you think Batman, you think Superman,
Justice
you think
League.
Wonder Woman, you think Justice League. Yeah. Aquaman, okay, he's part of Justice League, but he's kind of like the meme of DC in terms of DC Comics.
Like the friend that just kind of tagged along, and they were like,
yeah. So it's funny to me that that's their top grossing movie. Second and third are actually the Nolan. It's Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight. So
Dark Knight Rises came before Dark Knight?
Slightly, by only 50 million, by 50 million more.
Both of those made over $1 billion though, right?
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises made $1 billion and $1,084 million. And Dark Knight made $1 billion with $3 million.
Interesting.
So
wow.
But that's what I mean. So like, and then those movies aren't even part of that DC EU, the extended universe. So it's like, if you're comparing the MCU, which is like this expansive story of connecting all these heroes, compared to DC, like it doesn't even come close.
Yeah.
And then like Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice made 873 million. Didn't even break $1 billion. You know what I mean? Now compare that to Marvel. They have like
highest grossing film all time.
Avengers Endgame, 2,797,000,000.
It's insane.
Like 800,564. Their second place is Infinity War, 2,048,000,000. Avengers, 1,518,000. They have so many movies that broke billions.
Well, DC's like top 3 movies don't even come close to what Marvel's like top 3 are.
Yeah. And you know what? And their top 4 grossing are all the Avengers, where you have all these heroes coming together because they built up this storyline.
Yeah,
DC's aren't even. That makes total sense. It isn't even Justice League. You know what I mean? Like you would expect it to be Justice League. It's insane.
I remember when that came out, and when I think the problem with Justice League is, and we mentioned it at the time, when they made that movie and we were watching it, they introduced 4, 5 new characters, new superheroes that all could have had their own movies in 10-minute, 15-minute montage. It was like, and then you see him fight. Who did they fight? What was his name?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Oh, no.
I don't even know what that is. I don't care about
You're thinking of Batman versus...
Yeah. I'm thinking of Dawn of Justice. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Batman versus Superman over Justice League, and I thought they were both piles of trash.
They really were disappointments.
I just feel like DC tried way too hard to try to catch up, and they should have just taken their time. Honestly, if they had taken their time, look, at this point right now, they could. I feel like at this point, if they had taken their time with individual movies for each hero, right now they could have been releasing Justice League, and the reception would have been way better.
Definitely.
I mean,
they got nervous.
Yeah,
they started way too late.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel
for Marvel to build up all this momentum, because by the time they came out with Batman versus Superman, we were already past the second Avengers movie, I think, right?
Yeah, Age of Ultron. I think we were like at Civil War already.
Yeah, which is personally, my favorite Marvel movie, Civil War. I thought that was phenomenal.
Beautiful.
But, you're trying to catch up, and you're only going to look like you're trying to catch up. Mm-hmm. It's not a good look, and it's a shame, because DC it's awesome. I love DC. They have so many amazing characters and story arcs and stuff like that. But when you try to force what just isn't working, it just looks like you're forcing it, and you can tell that you're forcing it, and then you're going to get the reception that you deserve when you force it. Instead of DC or Marvel, I'm sorry, who took their time and started 12 years ago?
2008, I think Iron Man 1 came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Iron Man 1 and the Hulk.
They took 10 or 11 years to tell their story. And it worked beautifully, because the payoff was Endgame, and people were crying at the
Legendary.
end of it. Nobody cried during Batman versus Superman when, spoiler alert, Superman dies. Who cares?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill was good, but nobody really.
Henry Cavill was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He is Superman.
He is good.
Thank you.
But you don't have the same payoff as when, spoiler alert, Tony Stark dies. It's not the same.
Yeah.
You can't compare the two. It's just.
Have you? I watched Man of Steel the other day. I rewatched it because I trashed that movie for years now. I don't like Man of Steel.
I like Man of Steel. Besides the Nolan films, but that's not even part of the DCEU. Man of Steel would be my second favorite DC movie, and I don't even like Superman. I don't like Superman. I'll be honest with you.
So, when I first watched it, I gave it a 6, and a 6 from me is okay movie, but the bad outweighs the good. I watched it this time, and I actually upgraded it to a 7 because I don't know, maybe it was because it came out in 2013. Yep. Maybe I was too young back then and not like into it to really appreciate it. But it was more of a character-driven movie rather than big fight scenes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, I appreciate that.
It was the emotional type of thing.
Like the Batman movies, they're not action movies. The Nolan trilogy.
Yeah. That's like a noir, like mystery thriller, though.
The fight sequences are severely lacking. And Nolan is my favorite director of all time.
Yep.
So for me to say something bad about him is a pretty serious thing. But he didn't focus on any kind of like action sequences or anything like that. His thing was story-driven movies. I want to tell the story of this character, and I want to do it right. And he did. So there's nothing wrong with having a superhero movie that isn't full of just like explosions and like a Michael Bay movie.
Oh.
That's okay to do.
Yeah.
So
Michael Bay,
as long as it's done right.
No, I agree. So this time around, I definitely appreciated that more. I still have my problems with Man of Steel. There were certain scenes where I was like
what? Give us an example.
So if you guys remember the scene when the tornado was coming and Clark was in the car with his mom and his dad.
Yep.
His dad got out the car to save a dog when he knew Clark could have done it. Like, that was the most unnecessary sacrifice of his life that I've ever seen.
It was because he felt like the world wasn't ready for his abilities, Clark's abilities. They weren't ready for Superman, for that, like, what does this mean for the rest of the world that there's a person on Earth who can do the things that he does? Because that is world. That's like discovering.
I don't think Darian's referencing when he told him to stop when he was gonna save him. I think he's referencing the beginning, like when they saw the tornado coming and his dad was like, "Wait here," and he got out the car. Is that what you're talking about, or something like that?
Yeah, my whole thing is
he walked towards the car or something like that.
Yeah, I get when his dad was already saved his messed up his ankle, he couldn't get out, and he was like, he put up the hand and said stop, and I was like, oh, that's so sad. That could have been avoided if when they were in traffic, Clark just ran out to the side or something when people weren't looking, because they were sprinting, running for their lives. He could have just ran out to the side and started doing whatever he needs to do with the super speed.
But you got to remember, he still hasn't figured out all his powers, even as an adult. That's why his dad was like, okay.
And he wasn't even an adult, right? He was like, what, maybe he was like 19, 20, maybe. He wasn't even
early 20s.
Yeah. He didn't even know how to fly until he found the Fortress of Solitude.
Which was really cool. That was really cool.
Pretty epic, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
With the rock.
Yeah.
I like that. That was good. Okay. Continue.
Yeah, it's Joey. What were you saying?
What? Oh, no. That was pretty much it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. That was one of the. I think I wrote something down too. Let me see. Questions from Marvel. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, he does seem OP.
He is. He's Miss Marvel or whatever from that. He's pretty much DC's version.
Is that Captain Marvel or is Miss Marvel someone else?
Or Captain Marvel. My bad. I'm saying
okay.
And I think that's one of the reasons it's so hard to make like a good video game with Superman, because it's hard to gauge like your ability level in terms of like grounding it.
He has everything,
so it doesn't feel like you're like invincible to everything.
And that's
it would be cool.
And that's my gripe. It would be cool for what?
It would be cool to see him go against Shazam, because not only like one of his weaknesses is kryptonite, but the other is magic, and so that's what Shazam is based off around. So that would Superman versus Shazam movie. That would have been.
Has that ever happened in the comics?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I have. Have you ever, Joey, read? Because Joey is our resident
No, I have not.
DC
I
guy.
love
you
I
have?
love superheroes, but I like rarely read comics. I'll see
Okay.
one or two things.
So I have 2 volumes of the Superman and Batman, like the team up kind of story arcs. And in one of them, they do it. I know Darian plays chess. I don't know if anyone else plays chess here.
Sir.
But in chess, there's a move called castling, where you can switch
The rook.
with the rook. You can switch places. And Superman and Batman actually had like a code word where they took out Hawkman. Batman took out Hawkman, and Superman took out Shazam. And it was a really epic fight sequence there. And it was pretty cool. Where, like, Billy Batson comes out and does the whole Shazam thing, and then he like beats the mess out of Superman with the lightning bolt and stuff. It was really cool, and it'd be cool to see that on a screen, because something like that. I mean, we already have this Shazam movie, and I have my opinions about that one, but to be able to do something like that and expand it a little bit and show the different characters interacting with each other, other than what they did in Justice League, that'd be another cool twist on things.
Let's be honest, saying Batman versus Superman was kind of a letdown on how it ended. And then him fighting the Justice League, he was way too strong. So, I mean, for him to go up against Shazam, someone that he could go toe-to-toe with and actually struggle instead of kryptonite gas, Martha.
Yeah, and the CGI mustache. I mean, come on. Like,
Mission Impossible.
I mean,
which
that
is
was
an amazing franchise.
That was a big problem with the whole Justice League movie, which I'm excited to see the Snyder cut because I want to see how that was meant to turn out. But like in the movie that we got originally, it didn't feel like Justice League was fighting the enemy. They were pretty much just fighting with time and how long it would take to get Superman back so that he can fight the enemy. Like, it wasn't like even them. It was just like, we just need Superman, that's it, and we're done. And that's exactly what happened. Within like 30 seconds, boom, movie's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was...
Yeah.
And
Batman smiled.
Yeah.
I think another really, really amazing thing that Marvel was able to pull off, they balanced their characters really well. So you had people like Thor, who's technically a god, and who can summon lightning, next to Hawkeye, who's just a dude who has really good aim with a bow and arrow.
Easily the most useless superhero in all of the Avengers.
They balanced them great.
But they only win when he's there.
Hawkeye would help support the other heroes and stuff like that, and he would do things that gave him value. Whereas what DC did, what Wiley said, it was pretty much all these superheroes getting together to recruit or get the help from one hero who they were just gonna unleash and let do all the work. So they didn't balance their characters very well. And Aquaman, who's a water-based hero, spent 90% of the fight in the air. I didn't understand that. Did anyone else? Understand why?
I don't remember much from that, to be honest.
I've kind of erased it from my mind. I remember bits and pieces, but
he was just jumping around.
He was just like flying from parademon to parademon, whatever the heck they're called, and like I was just
so
like
stupid.
I get that he's strong and like bulletproof and whatnot, but geez, let me see a whale just jump on Steppenwolf or something.
Yeah, that was. I think the biggest problem with DC movies is the villains. I think the villains are really not good, and I think that's where Marvel succeeds, because you think of, I mean, you start off with Loki, one of the most identifiable. First of all, Marvel comics were nowhere near as big as DC comics back in the day. So the fact that the movies have exploded the way they had is purely due to good direction, good script writing, good acting, good action sequences, and so on. So for someone like Loki, who I've never heard of, to be an amazing villain like the way he was, you think of Thor Ragnarok, what was her name? Hela? She was another one.
Hela, yeah, Hela, yeah.
She was another amazing one. And then the greatest villain, well, in my opinion, the third greatest villain of any franchise ever is Thanos, behind the Joker and Darth Vader. But that's,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where Marvel succeeds.
And you know what? It's their villains in terms of the cinematic universe. Because if we're gonna break it down by comic, DC villains are out of this world.
Legendary.
And then that's the problem. Like, they just threw Doomsday in Batman versus Superman for like 10 minutes.
It was trash.
It's garbage. And you know what? Like, and they threw him in the trailer for the movie. That was stupid.
It's misleading.
Yeah.
Don't lie to your audience because that's not going to help you later on.
But Doomsday, incredible villain. You know, you have like so many great, insane villains in DC, and they just don't know how to use them. Deathstroke, yeah, you know what? Boom.
Oh, Deathstroke, yeah.
Oh, Joker. They don't know how to use Joker.
Joker.
The perfect thing is if you look at any of the Batman Arkham video games,
they'd use them so well.
The Batman villains.
Yeah.
They're just the Batman villains.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like Arkham City, you fought like half of his rogue gallery in one game, and you just bounced from one to the other, and it was epic.
Yeah.
So I've never played the games, but I've seen Jace play them beginning to end. Those are his favorite
They're
games.
amazing.
There was one with Bane. I don't remember. That might be Arkham City.
There's two with
there's Asylum and City, right?
I think it's Asylum. Bane was chasing, like Batman would go into the vents, and Bane was chasing him through the tunnels.
Oh, you know what?
I was just watching it.
That might have been
amazing.
Origins. Wasn't he in
I've
Origins?
never played any of them.
He was in Origins.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big
more
story
toned down in
gamer.
Origins, so.
Yeah, the way they just waste their characters pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think the way MCU got it right, in terms of their villains was, like you said, like they used a lot of, like Loki, for example. He was a great villain. He wasn't really heard of before the movies, you know what I mean?
No.
Or talked about. But they make him great on like a menacing level, but like on a psychological level as well, because he kind of like messes with their psyche. He breaks the team. They break the team up, stuff like that. And so I think that's why it works.
And you know that the villains in the MCU aren't afraid to do bad things. Like if you remember when Loki, I believe it was Avengers, the first one, where he made everyone kneel, and the old guy stood up.
He was
and Loki was getting ready to do it to him.
Yeah,
and I thought that was like, it just showed like he's funny. He's funny in the movie and he makes good jokes, but when it comes down to it, they had to finish him off because if not, like he was going to do some real damage.
And that's another thing that even I think it was Joss Whedon who said it. He was like, you can kill off any character in any movie.
Yeah.
No matter how beloved they are, as long as you tell a good joke after. And that's one thing that I really do like about the Marvel movies, that they're not afraid to kill off a character, even though usually they'll end up bringing him back somehow. But they'll do that. But the way they balance their humor throughout the movie, it's not forced. With DC, I felt like it was really like they were trying to kind of shove a joke in your face, like, "Hey, look at this, look at it. It's funny, right?" Like
yes,
Aquaman,
yes.
When he was doing the selfie
What's your
thing,
superpower again? I'm rich. Like, well,
yeah.
When Aquaman did the selfie thing in the bar, and the dude had the pink phone and all that stuff, it was just like
dressed like.
I think I'm the only one here that hasn't seen Aquaman.
You haven't seen it?
Yeah. So Joey tried to show it to me once.
He breathes underwater.
Okay, well, thank you. I kind of put that one together. Joey tried to show it to me once, and the first scene where they were fighting in the house or something like that, it was the
looks
cheesiest
fake.
thing I've ever seen.
That's another.
It looks so bad.
That's another gripe that I have with DC versus Marvel. I think one of my favorite things about Marvel is its real world locations. It's like the Earth that we live on, and then they adapt it and with these heroes and stuff. But then DC, which is great in the comics, they have these fictional, places, Metropolis, Gotham, and it feels like real world locations, but it's not. But you can't really relate to it. You can't relate to it, and then like in the movies, it just looks fake. You know what I mean? Like you feel like you're in a made up place.
Well, yeah. And then you got Atlantis and Amazonian island and whatnot.
Yeah, DC is really slacking on their sets and stuff, to be honest with you.
And to be
That's a good
fair,
point.
Marvel has Asgard, and they have these other planets that like Thor will go to, and it still feels good. So
it does,
It
yeah.
doesn't have to be a real world location. I totally agree with what Wiley's saying,
Mhm.
but if you do it right, then yeah, you can have these fictional places as well. I just feel like DC is trying too hard, like I mentioned earlier, to catch up, that they're not doing things right. They're not taking the time necessary to really develop these plots and these locations. So then, like what he said again, it feels forced. Like it doesn't feel real to you when you're watching it.
And 2 examples of that. One would be Asgard, like you mentioned, for example. We had 3 Thor movies, and I think Thor 2 is easily the worst movie out of all the MCU, but it's just my opinion. And then you have the Avengers movies where you go to Asgard in different times and stuff like that. You have time to build up a relationship with those people so that when in Thor Ragnarok, what happens when they destroy the entire planet? That was a Ragnarok, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. You feel like
That connection.
just you feel a connection like that just happened to these people and they watched it.
Yeah.
And then this guy comes out with a joke right after. Blue dude, the one that I forgot his name.
Oh, Cork.
Yeah. He said a
Cork,
joke
Cork,
while
Cork.
they were watching it explode. I don't remember what it was.
Taika, yeah.
But it felt
And
amazing.
Even people like Heimdall, Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Oof.
He's someone who had in all of the Marvel movies, he probably had like a half hour of screen time.
For real.
But he was awesome.
Maybe
He was awesome. It was,
But when again,
It's true.
spoilers, when he dies, you're like, holy cow! Like they just killed him, and he wasn't a main character. He was 100%.
He died early, too.
every
It still hurt.
side
It
character.
hurt.
But it
It did.
hurt. Yeah.
well,
When
because
Superman,
He sent Hulk
I
in
felt more for Heimdall's death than I did when Superman died in Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, you're not lying.
That's a good point. That is true.
And that goes to show
And I love Superman.
the difference between the two universes.
yeah.
Quick question? What are you guys' favorite superheroes?
Uh,
Marvel and DC.
Comics or movies?
In general, what's your favorite superhero?
Just in general, Marvel and DC. If you have to choose one,
Batman.
not from each, both.
Total.
Batman.
Who?
Batman.
Fair enough. I got Iron Man.
I think Iron Man. I don't know. I have so many that I like. Batman's a good one because he's just a normal guy who trained his butt off.
Yeah.
And with his money, he just blah, 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 blah.
And my second would probably be Captain America, just because he's
Captain America.
Yeah.
Who-
really awesome.
And Chris Evans just.
He's Captain America.
That's America's butt.
Mine would have to be Spider-Man. Anyone that knows me knows I love Spider-Man. So,
Fair enough.
but I mean, if we're
Okay.
going DC, Batman's a close second. Like,
Yeah. I also love Superman. I always loved Superman since I was a kid.
I hate Superman.
It's like Nelson's obsessed with
My
Superman. I'm surprised I didn't run.
grandfather, yeah. My grandfather had, and I would make fun of him, and I'd call it a shrine because
Oh, yeah,
technically
that's
It was.
he had like a wall in his basement dedicated to Superman. He had action
Yeah.
figures from every movie from Smallville, and then when Superman Returns came out, my dad and I got a life-size cardboard cutout of Brandon Routh
Oh,
I
no.
remember that.
from AB Toys in the Meriden Mall, and we
I
drove
remember
down
that.
the highway with Brandon's head sticking out of my dad's sunroof. And we gave it to him as an anniversary gift, and that was like his favorite anniversary gift ever.
Hello, it.
It was insane. Yeah.
I remember that when he had that in the garage there in his house on Fox Street, I think it was. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield. You can only choose one. Who do you choose?
Ooh.
And for those listening, those are the 3 Spider-Mans if you don't know.
Toby.
Toby.
Yeah, just because out of all 3, just growing up, that's the first Spider-Man you see. You're like, oh man, and then those movies they were fantastic, except for the last one. I mean, it was a little iffy, but
And even still, the last one holds a spot in my heart.
it does with Harry.
Well, we watched that together, Darian. I remember you crying when Harry died. So
You see, this is something that didn't need to come out on episode 2.
I'm just saying. And then
I
you
don't
were
know.
like,
Connection.
I remember he was like, no, they're tears of joy because they won in the end. You know.
if you guys know me, I'm a big crier in movies. I cry all the time in movies. I love it. It's so cathartic to cry during a movie. It's beautiful.
Speaking of crying,
Oh,
do you think Toby's an ugly crier?
100%.
100%.
absolutely. That's a fact. That's not even
Anyone
like.
who says he's not is lying.
Every time he
Yeah.
cries,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
well,
a fact.
What's your answer to that? Your own question, Darian.
It really is tough. I take Andrew Garfield out of the mix. I'm not a fan of So I liked his Spider-Man. I didn't like his Peter Parker. He was like a model with amazing hair, and the scenes where he got bullied just felt off. Someone like that wouldn't get bullied in school. It felt weird. Toby was amazing. I love his Peter Parker and I love his Spider-Man. But I like Tom Holland too. It feels more like a comic book.
Feels more genuine.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have to go with Tom Holland only because I feel like his character was closest to the comic book character.
Yeah.
With his Spider-Man and with his Peter Parker, because he's still a kid and he's still nerdy. And like in Civil War, when he was fighting Winter Soldier and Falcon, the comment that Falcon
Cool.
made
Is that
was
a metal arm?
Yeah, and when Falcon was like, there really isn't this much talking during a fight.
Yeah.
That's what he's known for. He's a chatterbox. He's constantly making stupid puns and quips and stuff like that. Any Spider-Man video game, that's what you get when you're fighting. He's constantly
those
making
side comments.
Yeah.
So to see that in a movie, I just felt like that was really accurate to what Stan Lee's original vision was.
I
have to say that.
I agree. He looks the part, like as Peter and as Spidey. Like just his physique, just like he just looks like Spider-Man. Like Kyler said, which is what I was gonna say. Also, his comments and his fighting is just amazing. He's always witty. He always has a joke. He always has something to say in the middle of a fight, and it's hilarious. And yeah, he acts like a kid. And Tom Holland's perfect because yes, he's an adult. He's like our age. He's like 24 at this point, but he still has that voice of like a little kid sort of. So it just goes 100%. Perfectly. So I personally am Tom Holland.
One of my favorite scenes is in what was it? Not Homecoming. Yeah, Homecoming.
Far From Home.
No, that was the Homecoming.
Homecoming. With Donald Glover when he's trying to hide his voice or whatever.
That
and
when he was sitting on the like railing of the building or something like that, and he's like, "Yeah, I stopped this like mugging from an old lady. She bought me a churro."
Oh yeah.
That's just like a child. That's something I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would do. So that I'm an adult, but I'm a kid at heart. I'm a geeky, nerdy little kid inside. So it's awesome to see that portrayed on a screen where you're like, hey, even someone like that can still be a superhero and do like all this awesome stuff.
Yeah, those are all really good points. I think I would go with Tom Holland too. I do think that's because it's close between Toby and Tom, but I do think what you mentioned is what separates them. It's the side comments during the fights. It's like the genuine snarkiness of Spider-Man that goes with the comics.
Well, I think also, it comes down to the fact that it's MCU versus the Sony Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi is essentially like it's kind of like saying the Nolan films of Batman. It was more of a cinematic experience over like the comic book kind of feel to it. So, I love the Raimi family. Tobey Maguire. That's an essential part of my childhood right there. Going to watch Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 has to be one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
It's one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 video game.
Oh, the game! Oh my god, I killed that thing. Killed that thing.
You need to go and do it right now. Go buy it. It's one of the best superhero video games of all time.
Yeah.
Did you know Tobey Maguire did the voice acting for that game?
Yeah. Yeah.
It says it on the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They definitely advertise that.
No, I agree. I think Spider-Man 2 is easily the best of the Spider-Man movies, and I think it's top 3 superhero films ever. And that's including the old X-Men movies. That's including all the MCU, the DCU. I love Spider-Man 2. Absolutely.
I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't go that far, but I could see why you would.
Absolutely. For the time that it came out, this was one of the first superhero movies. Spider-Man 1 was one of the first superhero movies. What was it? Blade? It was like 99 or something. So, yeah.
But that's also, that's also like an obscure hero. Blade, he's more of like an anti-hero or whatever. They don't really,
I don't even know what Blade is or what he does. I've never seen it.
He kills vampires. Yeah.
That's why I've never seen Blade.
Wesley Snipes.
Maybe that's why I've never come across it.
Ryan Reynolds is in it.
Is new.
Ryan Reynolds is in.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
What?
Mahershala Ali is playing Blade now. That's right.
Yeah, he is. Ryan Reynolds was in the original Blade movie. He was like, I don't know if he was like his partner or something. I don't really know about the.
He was like a main character.
Yeah. He had a
Oh my
goatee.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna find the picture.
Ryan Reynolds
I barely
is not a
read
good
it.
actor. Changed my mind.
That's why
He's not a Ryan Reynolds is not a good actor.
He's
He
not.
just has a funny
He's not-
persona. Like
He's funny.
he's goofy. He's goofy, you know?
Ryan, he's not in any good movies. His movies are trash. Almost all of them. I'm sorry to break your heart.
I
don't
like the
Ryan
proposal.
Reynolds.
I like the proposal. That was a funny movie.
that was a good movie, yeah.
Life.
Life.
Which one was that?
Okay.
The space
Remember that's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal where they
Gyllenhaal.
find the alien in space?
The chick from the new
And I think was the very ending, like they're in the little
Bryce Dallas Howard?
water. Oh man, I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ruin the ending. That's the movie.
Okay. I want to watch
Bryce
it.
Dallas Howard isn't in there.
Oh, that's
Sent you-
sorry.
Check your phone,
Earlier.
kind of.
Yeah. I'm looking at the picture of Ryan Reynolds.
I
He
could
doesn't really age.
I could pop it up on screen here.
Oh my
in the,
god, that's horrible.
I'll pop it up
Yeah.
on screen in the editing thing. But
Okay. But anyway, I was just using that as an example. There was that, and then I believe X-Men, and then I believe Spider-Man 1, all coming out within the same 3-year period. For Spider-Man 2 to be as good as it was movie-wise, let alone something from a comic book when superhero movies weren't the big thing, yeah, they definitely weren't where they're at today. And to have a villain like Doc Ock, which is, I mean, what's Alfred Molina? Amazing villain.
and you know what?
That's
the way they turned him into a villain was great. Like
Yes.
the origin.
His whole character arc was like,
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah.
And there's scenes that stuck in my head as a kid, and I was rewatching it last week. Where remember the scene where they were trying to operate the octopus arms off of his back, and they just started going in on all the doctors?
I got that connection right there.
Yeah.
The machine that they used to cut his or they were going to use to cut his tentacles off. My dad built that exact machine. That's from Jarvis Products Corporation and shipped it to Hollywood.
Oh snap!
Oh, really? Oh,
That's
I
all-
thought that was
his machine. My dad physically touched
built
that
the
and
machine
built
that they
it.
use. Wow. Look at that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting little tidbit there. Yeah.
That's
There
pretty
you go.
cool.
Yeah.
So I
That
have a
scene, and then the one
connection
where
with Maguire, not for Molina.
the scene where the glass was flying at his wife's eye, and it just kind of turns, and she's looking at. That's another scene that as a kid that like stuck in my mind. So it was dark. That movie was like
Oh,
dark.
yeah. It was depressing. It was sad. It was so good.
It was. It was. Yeah, I don't know where they went wrong with the third movie, but I mean, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Tobey Maguire,
Trying to
Alfred
catch
Molina.
off the
Yeah.
way.
That whole sequence was weird.
You gonna cry?
You know in the first movie when he caught the food on the tray, that was actually Toby.
Yeah, it
There's
took
no CGI there.
Really?
It took
Yeah, it
how
took him
many?
Like
I forgot.
It was like 200 tries or something, or like
I
something
think it was like
ridiculous.
3 hours.
Yeah, but he wanted to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember one of you guys told me that Freddie Prinze Jr. was the one that played Flash in Spider-Man 1?
No,
Isn't it Freddie Prinze Jr.? Who
No,
is it?
Joe Manganiello.
Joe
Manganiello,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
his name is.
Flash
It's
is
him.
in Spider-Man.
What?
No, he's talking about
Not
Flash. What's his last
Flash is-
name?
Flash Thompson.
Oh, Flash Thompson.
Thompson.
the bully.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe
Thompson, he-
Manganiello, whatever.
Those teenagers are fully developed. Let me tell you, man. They gotta get.
Yeah,
I mean, come
that
on.
doesn't surprise me though. Joe Manganiello has been Diesel since like birth.
Earth.
Yeah, that brother came out looking like a testosterone cell. But yeah. No, so
Yeah,
that's
cool.
my opinion on the Spider-Man movies. That was a cool debate.
Yeah,
Now
Alright.
going from heroes to villains.
I can go all day in Spider-Man. By the way,
Best
Yes.
to worst Jokers. Now this one's gonna be easy.
No, there's no context.
I think we all unanimously know
We
the
all-
best and worst.
Yeah, of course.
I give you
Best
my,
being Heath
I give you
Ledger.
my top 3 right now.
Yeah.
Are we going to like Michael Keaton movies?
Yeah,
as
we're
well?
going
We'll go
all
all the way, all the way.
back. George Clooney, Jim Carrey. We're going all the way. Danny DeVito.
Jack Nicholson
Jim
did
Carrey.
a phenomenal job as Joker. Jack
give-
Nicholson
Jack
killed
Nicholson.
it. It's a different Joker, and that's one thing that I really appreciate. That all the Jokers have been different. They never tried.
Yeah,
to
they have the comedian,
copy.
they have the anarchist, they have the psychotic, they have they always.
Yeah. So that's good that you don't have to rank it by like who did what role the best, because even though they're the same character, they're all very, very different.
Yeah.
So I'll give you my top 3 right now. Number 1, unanimous, Heath Ledger. I think we can all agree on that. What he did for that character, and especially like just the fact that it's in the Nolan films also, was just amazing. Number 2, I'm going Joaquin Phoenix. That Joker is
100%.
Never seen it.
Close second.
I've never seen it.
Close second.
I hear good things about it though.
Close second. Only it's just because it's a different movie. It's not even a hero movie. It's not a comic book movie. It's just a movie in its own.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, I'm going out of cinematic. I'm going to video games. Mark Hamill voice acting as the Joker is just amazing. Like,
you nailed my list on the
I can't.
Wow, what a plot twist!
Verbatim. That's
I
like saying,
respect it.
Yeah,
that's like saying Kevin Conroy is
as Batman.
one of the best Batman.
Bro, he could be Batman live action. That dude is jacked.
Physically.
Like, it's crazy.
For anyone listening, Kevin Conroy is in pretty much any animated version of the Batman,
except for like
Batman.
a few minor exceptions.
Yeah.
I think he does Lego too, right? Lego Batman.
I think it's Will Arnett.
Will Arnett does that now.
Oh yeah, I love Will Arnett, dude.
Yeah. So Kevin Conroy in the animated series, in most of the video games, and even in a lot of the new animated movies, it's still Kevin Conroy. Bruce Greenwood or Greenfield, I forget what his last name is. The older captain from the Star Trek movies.
Bruce Greenwood,
right? Okay.
Nah, I just made that up. I'm sorry. I
Thanks.
just wanted to give you hope there.
Anyway, he played Batman in a few movies, I think, but most of the time it's Kevin Conroy.
Who was it for? Did Conroy do? It was Bruce Greenwood, Canadian actor. Yeah. He Origins, was that Conroy? I know they switched.
No, that's Baker.
Okay, and I know they switched Joker. It wasn't Mark Hamill either, right?
No.
Yeah.
That's for the
Troy
game.
Baker
Yeah, that's the one game that it was different Batman
Okay.
and a different Joker.
And different Joker.
Another awesome voice actor.
Although I gotta say whoever did Joker, I forget the name. He was pretty close. He did pretty good. So
there's something about Mark Hamill's Joker though, especially when you see him do it live, like at an interview or something. He'll just at Comic-Con, he'll just break out and do it for people.
Gets right into it.
Yeah.
For everyone listening who doesn't know, Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, and he also played Joker for most of any animated version of the character.
The same way
decades now.
The same way Kevin Conroy did Batman, he did Joker.
In the CW Flash, he actually does like
Trickster or something like that.
He does Trickster, and then on Earth 2, he's actually sort of the Trickster again, but more like Joker-esque, like the green hair, etc.
I love him. Oh yes, you're right. Huh?
Are we going to talk about CW TV shows?
We are.
About that next.
I need to discuss that.
Okay. First, the worst Joker, and we already know who this is. Jared Leto.
100%.
I don't even need to say anything. It's we all know. Come on now.
Yeah.
Now Joey asked me about this like 2 weeks ago.
Why he is the worst Joker there is? I mean, Darren,
what's your opinion on it?
It's because I get that they try to modernize him, but I mean, and in the comics, he's a gangster. Whatever. He's a gangster, etc. Turned crazy, falls into the chemicals. But this was just too much. They made him into a pimp. He wasn't really Joker. He had tattoos all over the place. He had grills. What?
They made him. They made him into like a mob boss. Like I don't even know.
It wasn't.
When Joey asked me about this a few weeks ago, I wrote like 3 paragraphs on all my problems with Jared Leto's Joker. Like I was just venting. I was like, there will always be a slight debate as to who the best Joker was. There will be no debate to who the worst Joker was.
He earned that.
He earned it. And Jared Leto's a good actor. He's been in a lot of good movies. I just don't know what they were thinking when writing that Joker.
And
I mean,
for whatever reason, they're having him reprise a role. I mean, that
Now-
was
Well, he was
it
already
wasn't
he was
just
already in
us.
the.
Oh, he was? That was like a contract?
Well,
thing?
so the thing about the Snyder Cut is it's not like they refilmed anything. Everything that's coming out in the Snyder Cut was already filmed originally.
No,
so-
but I thought for the next Suicide Squad he was going to be
Is he back?
Joker. I thought that's what.
No, I think
I
it was
might
the
be
news
totally
was just
wrong.
that he was confirmed to be in the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
that's
originally there was like a big plot point with Joker, if I'm not mistaken.
different.
I just
Yeah.
can't see Batman and Jared Leto's Joker in the same room. I can't see Batfleck.
It doesn't click. It doesn't click.
No.
Mm-mm.
Can we
Because
bring
there's no like.
Because let's be honest, like I told D, like if you modernize Batman, for example, you know, he'd be decked out with like making a joke from the Dark Knight series with the hockey pad suit. He would be decked out, modernized, you know, weapons and everything. But no,
he
he's
would look
in a
like
classic Dark Knight outfit, and you got Joker, who's a modern pimp. He's a gangster, whatever. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And I'm to be honest with you, what do you guys think about Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn?
I don't like her
Yeah,
personally.
I'm
I
kinda
never-
iffy
I
with
never
her.
Got the whole craze with the franchise thing that she got. It just it felt.
I didn't even waste my time watching Birds of whatever that name is.
Birds of Prey.
Nope.
I did just because I have to dedicate myself to at least watch almost every single superhero movie, and that was absolute
No way.
garbage.
I gotta say, as much as I mean, she's not the best Harley Quinn. She probably wasn't the best choice. She's okay, but she's pretty much the saving grace of DC because she blew up. Like Suicide Squad. Look at like the amount of girls that were wearing her costume, and then now DC's pretty much centering everything around Harley Quinn. Then you know, Suicide Squad, she became an icon. Harley Quinn. Then they had the Birds of Prey. Now Suicide Squad 2. They have the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad game, and she's like the main character. You know what I mean? So
It literally forced them to do a solo movie
Mm-hmm.
of her adventures.
Mhm.
That's how much people liked her. I
Yeah,
guess I
now-
don't know.
We've been bashing DC a lot,
Yeah, I
We
mean,
have.
rightfully so.
We have.
yeah.
But
True.
one thing that they absolutely have done a million times better than Marvel is putting women on the big screen in
Yeah.
main roles.
Yeah,
For
You're right.
I don't know why it took Marvel so long to come out with a female lead
yeah.
movie
Yeah.
with Captain Marvel, and when they did, it sucked.
Captain Marvel is just
The
above
worst.
Thor 2. As-
In my opinion, it's below. Personally, But
I
Wonder
definitely
Woman-
understand.
Wonder Woman for DC was a huge success. Everyone loved
Yeah.
it. I thought it was great. In the new movies, I think Wonder Woman is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big
I
Wonder
agree.
Woman fan,
Yeah.
but the
makes-
new DC movies definitely my favorite. And again, I'm not a fan of Harley Quinn, but she exploded,
Mhm.
and everyone
Definitely.
just gravitated toward the character, and that's great. So having the female lead, DC definitely took the cake with that specific part of the
Yeah.
Now
universe.
going towards what you touched on with Captain Marvel. Terrible movie. Character annoying.
Yes.
But
Ooh,
low key
Where's this going?
pretty accurate, because if you've ever read a Marvel comic with Captain Marvel in it, she's annoying in the comics.
Carol Danvers
Is she?
sucks.
Carol Danvers is just an annoying character. So I mean, pretty accurate of how they wrote it in the movies, because she
Okay, then maybe
she
that's
complains
something they
about
could have changed.
she complains about everything. She makes stupid decisions. She's just
Cocky. She's cocky and
yeah,
Endgame.
very cocky. Yeah, she's a
Brie Larson
Civil-
was just a cardboard. Her
Civil
acting
War-
was terrible.
Civil War II, the comic series, and I think Joey, I don't know if you read those.
Again, I don't.
I
Really
I
read
think I
comics.
know what you're referencing with Rhodey.
No,
Okay.
she was the main, like when they split, it was
Yeah.
her against Iron Man,
Yep.
and she
I'm
was
going for a
just like
bathroom break. Keep going.
every single chance she got, she was just like reading the riot act, and it was just so like
She was very
creepy and
annoying.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm talking about. She was with at the time she was dating Rhodey. because they date in the comics. They're a couple in the comics.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
And she just I think they kind of touched on that in Endgame, but they were on opposite sides, and she just had no problem like killing him or letting him die. And I was like, what is this? Like, this makes no sense. Like, this is the stuff that like annoyed me about her character.
It's a sucky character in general.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, then the movie
Got
was
it.
accurate. It got it right.
Yeah.
It just it chose a wrong character to start the whole like female lead thing with, because the character itself is just a bad character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they didn't do Black Widow first, because she's someone who'd been there since the beginning, and they could have easily said, okay, here, now one of the main Avengers gets her own movie. But instead they waited until now, and now they're stuck because with the whole COVID thing, they can't release their movie.
Now, yeah, me too, man. I was excited. That movie looks great. Looks great.
Which movie?
I think Black Widow looks great. I think it's gonna be Taskmaster. Like, come on.
With the shield. Okay.
I was gonna say though, do you guys like Captain Marvel in Avengers or in her own movie more? Which one was better? Avengers, okay.
I don't like Brie Larson in general.
Okay, but
I think she's a terrible actress.
We're talking about
she's a great actress.
We're just talking about Captain Marvel in the movies. Like, which one did you like more, in Avengers or in the actual?
Avengers.
Okay, Joey.
Avengers. Like I said, cockiness.
You know what's funny? She filmed her Avengers scenes before Captain Marvel.
Really?
Yeah.
For Infinity War?
Well, it was Endgame. She showed up in Endgame.
Why?
She wasn't in Infinity War?
No, she was in Endgame.
She was at the very end of Infinity War. That's how it ends.
Oh, that
was the end credit scene.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
She gets Thor's hammer.
No, she doesn't get her.
That's Endgame. Okay. Anyway,
she never.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. Samuel Jackson calls her, and it's just a symbol or whatever.
He's got the afro like he's Shaft.
But yeah, so they cast her, and then they filmed her scenes for Endgame before her movie.
That's crazy.
Why?
Weird.
I don't know why. Maybe timing. They were already filming, and so they had all the casts, and so they were just like, let's just film your scene. Because she was in Endgame very little. If she probably had like 6 minutes of screen time total or something.
That's why I liked her better in Endgame.
Yeah. So, but that's what but like her character seemed a little bit. She was cocky, but I kind of liked her character more in Endgame than I did in.
It was more like flushed out.
Yeah.
That's true.
I've never seen someone who runs as bad as she does.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is a phenomenal runner. What are you talking about?
His form is so perfect that it looks wrong. It's hilarious.
It's so good. It's so aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Women superheroes.
Squirrel yes, girl? Thank you.
Yeah,
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl.
Wait, before we get into Squirrel Girl, you know the scene in Endgame when they do that shot of all the female superheroes from Marvel and they're standing together? Mm-hmm. Did you guys think that was cheesy?
Yes.
Yes. But, okay, again, female empowerment, great. I'm happy. Yeah. I want them to do it. It
felt forced.
Yes.
Yeah. It did.
Don't throw it in the face of the audience. Don't make it so obvious. Let us pick up on it little by little and be like, oh, hey, look at that. I just realized that was all the way. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But when they throw it in your face, it's like, okay.
Because they went shot by shot to see each one. Then they panned out and showed them all as a group. So yeah, it felt forced. And then I think when you do that, it also causes more complaints, because then it's just like, oh yeah, they just do it in our face so that we can shut up, instead of just like having it be a real thing. Which is what
Disney did. Mm-hmm. That's what Disney did with the new Star Wars movies, and we'll get into that on Star Wars Week. But I have so many problems with that.
Yeah.
The thing with the female scene was, whenever there's an Avengers scene where they do a camera pan or a shot of a big group of superheroes, for example, Avengers 1, when they were in New York and they did the circle.
Iconic scene.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great scene. Avengers 2 at the beginning. Yes. When they were flying through the woods.
Well, that
Amazing.
one and
And
at
in
the
the-
end when they're fighting all the old ones
yeah.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
church, epic scene. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that scene.
Both of those felt natural. You
Mhm.
saw how it happened, how it came about. What are the odds that
All
only
the
the
women,
females would be in one group at one time? I think Marvel, if they spent more time on that, they could have done a much cooler
Mhm.
entrance to that. Because I'm all for it, and I'm definitely down for that to happen, and I'm
They-
cool with it.
Literally could have had just one of the women just have the gauntlet or whatever, running
Man.
across the battlefield, and then have the other women fighting. Just camming. Panning to
Yeah.
each one separately. Bah, 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 bah,
Yeah,
bah,
they
instead
could
of
have they
all
could have shown them
right there.
like what they were doing at that time
Yeah.
instead of having them all grouped up.
That would
together.
be cool.
Mhm.
Imagine if
personally-
they started grouping up and then like Thor
Yeah,
or something
very end.
joined in and they pushed him out, or like, as a joke, like
Yeah.
this is female. That would have been good.
Perfect moment for a joke. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it would have been a little better. And honestly, I wouldn't even mind a female movie with like all the heroes where they like make it, obviously spend time with it, make it like okay.
Yeah,
There's
there's
a reason
they're
why the
saying
men can't be there. Don't be like, oh, we're
Mhm.
just not invited.
What? There's no good reason for that. Just like there would be no good reason for an only male.
Mhm.
You know, I don't see that.
Well, Black Widow's almost all female superheroes.
Yeah,
except
you got
for,
David Arbor,
Yeah,
Yeah, except for him.
Is that Hopper?
but that feels good.
yeah, Albert.
Okay. I like
But,
the fact that he's a fat, drunk Russian Captain America.
He
love
is.
that.
He was
Sure.
made to be.
He
like,
really is.
Yeah,
He's a good actor, David Arbor.
he is.
The dude
And
plays a lot of
and
different roles.
It's funny because like early on, when I think David Arbor, I think of like Green Hornet when he was like the politician or whatever.
Oh my god.
The only
Wow.
movie.
Yeah,
He was in Green Hornet?
yeah.
How about he tried to blackmail him?
Yeah, he was. He killed his dad with the
Mm-hmm.
bee sting or whatever, and
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
mhm.
I don't remember him at all in Green Hornet.
Yeah, he looked very different. He was skinny. He was.
He was a lot. He was really skinny.
I remember Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz. I think he was probably the best part of that movie.
Which
Let
is
me tell you,
weird.
Green
What
Hornet-
a weird movie for him to be in. You know what I mean?
Green Hornet is the only movie that I've ever walked out on with my family. We went to see that as a family,
Green
and I
Lantern.
think no, I've never seen Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds one. I won't waste my time.
Garbage.
But
Sure,
Green
the
Hornet.
one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Anchorman
Huh?
Anchorman 2.
Anchor.
Dobby.
Well, that was with you.
Dobby. Yeah.
True.
That was just us. But Green Hornet, we were together
Dobby.
as a family, and we were like, I was like, I don't know, 10 or something, and I was like, my fat little self was like, what are we watching? You know. You got Seth Rogen's laugh. What's his sidekick's name?
Uh,
Kato?
Kato.
Kato.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Tom.
Kato. Yeah. Okay, but back to Squirrel Girl, like Joey mentioned.
Scrook.
What was Marvel thinking? She's new. She's 2014. That's when
I
she
was
came
gonna say
out.
that was
Apparently
like
really
the
strong.
bad days.
I mean, Marvel and DC have a lot of weird characters.
Okay, DC
You know-
has someone named Doorman. He turns into a door for people to pass through always.
Okay, wait. I think we've all seen Key and Peele, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Anyone listening, Key and Peele, awesome show, great skits.
Substitute teacher.
The episode, I don't know if you guys remember, where I think Jordan Peele was playing like a Stan Lee type character, and they were in like the room with all like the editors and stuff like that, and he kept throwing out all these like random.
I haven't watched that one.
That was hilarious. And in all honesty, it's pretty accurate to what some of the superheroes
Yeah.
in Marvel and DC are, because like Darren
Because they
mentioned,
ran out of ideas.
Doorman. Yeah, what is Doorman going to do? Who is going to take Doorman into a fight and be like, "Hey,
Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man, who's going to be in the new Suicide Squad? Pete Davidson's character, whoever he is. I'm excited
Stop.
for that one. But
Stop it.
I mean, if you want to find the weirdest heroes, look at the Inhumans or like the just mutants, X-Men. There's so many, different mutants that they all have weird powers.
that are so
Weird.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
I actually have
Floronic Man.
Yeah.
What is it?
Floronic Man. He's a villain who's technically his power's weed.
Really?
See, now
Oh
that's
my-
just
The
like
most ridiculous thing. It's just why.
Snowblaze or something like that. in DC, he was a character who he got the more cocaine he snorted, the more powerful he became.
No way.
What?
And he lasted one issue because he overdosed and died.
That's just Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. That's what that is.
Disclaimer: we do not condone drug use.
No,
so.
absolutely
No.
not. Very bad.
Legal or illegal, none
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, none of
But
it.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna see. Go back to like the 1970s in either DC or Marvel, and you're gonna find some really weird characters.
Now, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong here. Squirrel Girl is insanely strong.
Apparently so. I don't know much about her, but apparently so. I think she saves the world at one point or something. I have no clue, to be honest.
I looked her up in preparation.
How?
Isn't she commonly
beat-
found with like Iron Man? Isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, so she went to Iron Man and wanted to be a part of the team, and he said no. So she defeated Doctor Doom with by overwhelming him with squirrels. That is not a joke.
That's
You see-
canon.
The tea's ready.
Overwhelming him with.
Yeah, if you see the picture in the comic, it's Doctor Doom, and he's like, ah! There's a bunch of squirrels on him.
Oh man.
That's how it is. Yeah, she beat Thanos. Nobody knows how, but in the comic, it's a picture of him kneeling down, defeated, and she's above him, telling the story.
I love
And-
it. It's so random.
Yeah, and she talked Galactus out of destroying Earth. She couldn't beat him, so she talked him out of it.
She's one of those characters that has no business being a character, but Stanley was just like, no, you know what? Screw that.
Just
We're gonna go
OP.
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 Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do this, and everyone's gonna have to accept it because I'm Stan freaking Lee.
He was on his
And
last
then he-
leg when he did that. He was off something.
He was bored.
Yeah.
He was bored, definitely.
He must have been. Let me see here.
Okay.
Oh, we can segue into what Joey mentioned earlier about the CW shows.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've shared our opinions on that, the different shows before. Overall, what do you guys think of them? Joey, I want to start with you.
They were good when it first started. They had
Which
the
they?
incentive. Arrow. The very first one that
Okay.
started was Arrowverse. All that. Season 1, season 2, absolutely beautiful. The Flash.
I agree.
It was pretty good first season. After that, it just went downhill.
They're I think 7
downhill.
seasons in.
Yeah.
To the
Flash?
Flash. Yeah.
Ooh.
They won't let go.
And that's
They
another thing.
won't.
You gotta know when to stop.
And the thing is with the Flash, it resets every season. It's
Yes.
I'm the fastest man alive. Oh wait, I'm not the fastest man alive. I have to get
Yes.
faster. I need to get faster. The guy who killed my mom, I need to go back to him and ask him, how do I get faster? And now I'm faster. Oh wait, there's someone even faster. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
That's true. And that's why when I saw the first season, I enjoyed it, but my problem was the season was 24 episodes long. No show needs 24 hours to tell that I think they're hour-long episodes to tell that story. It was like a real life anime. Filler episodes going on and on about stuff that I didn't care about. And then the ending was just anticlimactic. How are you the Flash, but everyone is faster than you? I don't understand that.
Now, going to that point, everyone is faster. Why are there so many people in that show who have access to the Speed Force? There are
Dude.
not that many characters who are fast in DC Universe. And the Flash has an awesome rogues gallery.
There is a lot of speedsters for no reason.
How
in
didn't they make up like 5 new speedsters or something like that? Like,
Yes, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. There's so many that they kept creating. Draw from the source material.
yeah, they
Comics
made
have been around for a long time. You have so many villains you can choose from, but they kept creating new ones.
choosing speedsters.
they
Yeah.
made himself his own villain in one of the
Savitar?
Savitar.
Avatar isn't even Barry Allen, but apparently he is a Barry Allen.
2 questions. What's the Speed Force and what's a rogue gallery?
Rogue Gallery is like your list of villains that you have. your enemies.
So Batman has the Joker and Penguin and Riddler, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And the Speed Force is, I wouldn't say a god or something like a sentient being. It's literally what you think. It's what gives every single speedster their speed, except for, Harrison Wells. Zoom.
Yeah.
His
How
power
can I
is
forget
weird.
Harrison?
His power is really weird. It's not even super speed. It's like he slows down everything around him, which makes him appear faster. Something like that.
Is Zoom Reverse Flash?
He's Reverse Flash.
Because that's Flash's arch nemesis, right?
Yeah, Reverse Flash is Eobard Thawne. That's what it is.
Okay.
Now the Speed Force is a place, right? I vaguely remember some episode of him getting caught in the Speed Force.
I think
It's
in the
kinda-
show it is.
You know where you can kind of relate it to, if you want to kind of relate it to the quantum realm of like,
In Avengers.
yeah, where you can kind of get stuck in there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Ant-Man.
It's not like, par for par exactly the same. I'm just the closest related thing for you, so you can visualize it.
Okay.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Interesting.
the thing that I look forward to most in those shows, and I don't watch any of them now, but
No.
going into it when they first started, it was seeing how they would not only develop the character, but one of the coolest parts about taking comic books and putting it into either a movie or a TV show is seeing like the side characters pop up, the ones that are like more obscure and stuff like that, seeing what they do with like or like a cameo or something like Smallville.
Oh,
Going back to it's a little cheesy, a little like campy.
Yeah.
But the original watch, like if you watch it for the first time, it's pretty cool because as the seasons go on, I think there was 10 seasons.
Yep.
You see them introduce in like one episode they have like the Flash, and you're like, holy cow!
And then
it's
Cyborg.
It's a show on Superman, but then they have the Flash and stuff like that, and it's cool to see cameos like that. So I was looking forward to that in these shows, but then it felt like they were just trying to drag things out, and then they came out with what was the spin-off show from Legends of Tomorrow? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which was an atrocity. It was so
Oh
bad.
no.
They took out every extra person and they just put them right in one place.
And they're like, oh, we don't know what to do with this guy anymore, and people kind of like them, so let's just make another show on it. And it was just so forced, and you're just like, okay, learn to let go.
Joe, you used to watch that show, and I remember I was like, it was all the side characters.
First couple episodes.
It was all the side characters that no one cared about.
Yeah.
Put in their own show. Where did they think that would work? We don't care about them times 6, however many of them there are. I didn't like that, but Smallville has aged well, in my opinion. I love Smallville.
Going back to Barry Allen not being the fastest, I mean, it's true. Actually, Wally West is probably the fastest one when he takes over as Flash. Barry's the first one. He's not. Oh, what would you say?
I'm sorry. I'm just grabbing my charger real quick. Oh, keep going.
I was hoping they'd pull out Wally West, other Wally West in the CW show.
Okay, now Joey. I know Joey knows because I know he watched it. What is your favorite DC show? Not necessarily CW, but DC.
I know mine.
Show. Live action or animated?
Can I say mine?
Yes.
Yeah, say yours.
Young Justice.
There you go. Good man.
It's a good show.
Young Justice.
Really good show.
Personally,
I haven't watched it in ages. I mean, when I was a kid, it's been a while.
Seen the second season.
I haven't seen the second. Yeah.
You haven't seen the second season?
Yeah, no.
Ooh. Really good. Really
Does
good.
Wally come back?
Justice, Darren, you're muted, by the way. Young
Like
Justice.
a boomer.
Original Young Justice. That was amazing. I watched it at your house, Kyler. I watched it with you. Yeah.
It came out as a movie at first, and then they turned it into a show, and it was all of the main heroes of the Justice League, their sidekicks, and like the stuff that they would do. So it had Robin, Aqualad, Superboy, Ms. Martian, and Kid Flash, and Arsenal / Red Arrow was in and out of it, he was like a recurring character.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it was a really underrated show that was actually super epic, and that was one thing that it was almost Marvel-esque, where it made you really connect with the characters and really care about
The
them.
very
They
ending.
developed each one individually, and then the season finale of season 1 killed off one of them, and it was terrible. I literally got, I didn't cry, but I got.
Joey, I feel like you're dropping spoilers here.
I was hurt. Sorry.
I want to rewatch it.
Honestly, that and the original Teen Titans, I used to love the original
Oh
Teen
my
Titans, man.
goodness, dude.
Yo,
Right.
anytime Slade came on, like he was so menacing,
awesome.
man. He was amazing. It was crazy. As a kid, I feared him, but now I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I'll be like, why isn't he a more prominent villain in like the DC universe? Like, in
He
the
should be.
Titans, he is like the worst guy you want to cross paths.
100%.
But I think it's
But
because Slade doesn't really have any like ulterior motives. He's just an assassin, right? Like
He's a mercenary.
he's a mercenary, yeah. So it's not like he himself is like, I want to destroy everyone. He's just like, whatever they pay me to
Batman
do.
be like, I'll pay you to not fight us. You'll be like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Very true.
In that show, he was always such like an ominous character, and with the way he would go up against Robin and stuff like that, it was just it was so well done.
Yeah.
And
Remember Raven's dad?
Triskelon.
I forget the name.
I forgot.
It was
The
weird.
show explored their relationship and like how screwed up it was. And as a
Yes.
kid, like even as a kid, I managed to appreciate that. And that's, you don't see that very often, especially today, like that deep story level, not even in the CW shows, honestly.
animated shows too.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
the thing. I feel like DC needs to kind of lick their wounds and be like, all right, so we got the live action stuff wrong. Let's just stick to the animated movies because they're animated.
That's where they excel.
phenomenal. Their
Flashpoint?
shows,
Prince,
If Marvel
phenomenal.
can make Spider-Verse, I think DC should just pull out a Young
True.
Justice movie and just
yeah. And it works. They're good. They need to
That's
stick
true.
with what they're good at. Don't force things that you suck at. Stick with what you know and what you excel at. And DC just kills it with their animated stuff. It's really, really good.
It's because they're
But-
dark.
Yes, and that's
There we
another thing.
go.
I think a lot of people look at animated stuff and they're like, "Oh, it's a cartoon. It's supposed to be lighthearted and funny." No,
No.
if you go into a DC animated movie thinking that, you're going to be very sorely disappointed because they have no problem like hitting you where it hurts.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
it's like,
Flashpoint
wow,
caught me off guard when I saw that for the first time.
yeah,
I didn't
it's
expect it.
definitely.
there was a
it's
movie after the Flashpoint. I forgot what it was. It's new. It's a pretty new
it The
DC
Killing Joke?
animated movie. What?
Batman the Killing Joke?
No, it's another. I'll look it up right now if you guys want to continue the conversation.
The-
No,
the
we'll sit
very-
here in
well,
silence waiting for you.
The very ending.
Batman movies are amazing.
Well, I was just
too.
gonna say, yeah, like when it comes to animated and printed comics, Marvel's not touching DC.
Mm-mm.
They're not.
I agree.
They're not. Where Marvel's leading right now is MCU cinematically. Yeah. So
And
Now,
it's
my
a shame
problem with-
because-
Yeah,
go ahead.
My problem with the comics is the annoyingness of how convoluted the universes are, especially with DC. They've rebooted the DC comics 44 times, I think it is. I mean, it's insane the number of times they've rebooted it.
All that stuff.
Every time I want to get into the comics, there's nowhere to start because do you start with New 42 or New 52? Do you start with the old ones or the newer set?
There's so many different versions, and you'll learn that. I mean, there's too many versions of Flash, too many versions of how Flash got his powers. There's one version, like I told you before, where
Yeah.
he runs so fast he becomes the lightning bolt that hits himself and gives him his own powers.
How does that make sense?
There's
How does it even make sense?
Yeah.
There's no free will if that's the case. It all breaks down.
For him, technically, no.
yeah.
I mean, he messes up the timeline like 20 billion times. Flashpoint.
Yeah. That's where Star Wars does it right in their comics.
Justice League
Because-
Dark, by the way, is the movie that you should watch.
I never heard of that.
Did you watch it, Kyler? I don't know. You side.
What is
No,
it?
I
What'd
heard-
you say?
I heard
He's-
Star Wars comics. and I
It's
was
Star
just
Wars comics, yeah.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What's the name of the movie? I'm sorry, Joey. I couldn't hear you.
Star Wars Dark.
Dark Apocalypse.
That's the name of the DC movie that was after.
Yeah, kind of like after Flashpoint a little bit.
Interesting.
The very ending, it's like, oof.
Wonder Woman was mean in Flash.
Oh man! Oh my goodness!
What was it? What was Shazam? Captain Thunder or something like that with all.
If you're still listening right now, go watch Flashpoint.
Yes.
Just
DC
rent it.
Flashpoint's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's another crazy storyline? Injustice. The Injustice storyline. The video game.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
the
my
cinematic.
Yeah, that
You can watch the
Fire.
you
video
can
game.
watch just the video game. Yeah, and it was amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's an hour and 20. I think it's a full movie if you watch just the cinematic pieces from the game.
And
And
it
it's
turned
awesome.
They turned it into a comic book series
Mm-hmm.
after, or was it
Really?
already one?
Well, who knows with DC?
I don't know which.
Who knows? Do you guys remember the X-Men animated show from back in the day?
Yes, I remember.
Because-
I watched it.
Wolverine
once.
and the X-Men?
Yes.
Was it?
The one
I
where he's holding
love-
the picture with the full suit and the claws. That meme.
Yes. I loved that show. That was another one where they explored relationships. That was where I found out that Mystique was Nightcrawler's mom.
Yeah.
That was where I found that out.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And they had Blob, who's my favorite villain from the X-Men. I love the Blob.
You remember my
They did
toy?
him dirty.
With
Yeah,
the little-
yeah,
the
I was-
thing in the
Yeah,
middle.
you broke it. I was
Okay.
so bad at it.
You know what? It's because I was obsessed with that toy. I wanted one so bad. And you were always like, I don't know where I got it from. I don't know. And I was like, Kyler, tell me where you got it.
KB Toys. I don't know.
I KV Toys, man. If it
KB
wasn't
Toys.
Toys R Us, it was KB Toys.
Yeah.
That I love Blob. They did him dirty in Wolverine Origins. That was rough.
But is there any superheroes you guys would want to see come to like a live action or maybe sidekicks? Because I know I would want to see like Robin.
I was just gonna say Robin.
After they teased that, I mean, we're not gonna count Titans because I watched a few, couple episodes of that, and it's absolutely
Like
trash.
garbage.
Is that the new animated show?
No, it's live action.
They actually did that?
Yeah, it's on their DC streaming service.
I think second season, and I saw the trailer for that, and Superboy's in it.
Season
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, and they got
And Dick
Nightwing.
Grayson-
They got
Nightwing,
Nightwing
yeah.
coming. Yeah.
Oh, I like Nightwing.
Nightwing.
That's Dick
okay.
Grayson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim Drake, personally, my favorite. Turns into Red Robin later
Red
on.
Robin. Yum.
See,
Awesome.
too much.
Awesome
There's
Robin.
too much.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not. Because the Robins are personally one of my favorite characters in DC.
They're so
because
much more complex
done-
than you would imagine.
They're
Dude.
done naturally. It's
Yeah.
not like they're just rebooting it and coming up with a new character and stuff like that. And I like it because that's one thing that sucks about comic books. They've been going on for so long, and it's like nobody ages. But
Yeah,
that's one
true.
thing that they did with Robin's character. That as time went on, okay, Dick Grayson, who was adopted at the age of, I think it was like 9.
Yeah, he was pretty young. Yeah.
9.
Was it 13?
He-
No, or maybe
I
9.
think he was younger.
Yeah, probably.
I might be wrong, but anyway, he slowly grows up and becomes Nightwing as an adult, and it doesn't make sense.
Batman.
Batman doesn't really age. But after he gets older, then it's Jason Todd, who is murdered. So he
Yeah.
takes a break from the Robins, and then later on, it's
Tim Drake.
who earns his way to becoming Robin because Batman didn't even
He's
want
smart.
another Robin because he was traumatized.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's Harry Kelly. So the way that they evolved the character, it's actually done really well
And
in my opinion.
And I like how the different iterations of the Robins causes Batman to treat them all differently. So like,
All
you
their
have
own character.
yeah, so then you have like
Yeah.
Dick Grayson, he turns into Nightwing, and then he works side by side with him once in a while, and then Jason Todd dies, whatever, becomes Red Hood,
Spoiler.
yada yada, spoiler. But then which causes Batman, he didn't want a Robin. When he finally gets Tim Drake, he allows him to be his Robin, then he treats him like a child. Like, he's like, no, I got this. He's overprotective because of what happened with Jason, and it's like, it's crazy, like how they progress the
dynamic
story like that. Yeah.
Between everything is very, very distinct. So it's really cool.
Damian Wayne.
Damian Wayne, who
He's
hated his father. He just hated
Yeah.
Bruce. Like, I hated Damian Wayne.
I was
could
okay
turn
with
to know.
spoiler alert when he died. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
That didn't affect me too much because.
All right, so all these Robins are in the same comic book line. They just it's okay, so it's a natural evolution of the character.
When Bruce Wayne was like really young, starting off as Batman, that's when he adopted Dick Grayson, and then from that, it's just as he got older, and then you got Damian, which is
so Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character in the
it's a made up
Dark Knight
Robin.
Rises.
It was made up, yeah.
It's a made up Robin.
It was supposed to be Dick Grayson because
that's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my big. I know. Again, I love Christopher Nolan. I love Batman.
It wasn't a comic movie. It was a film. It was
But that was a little frustrating that his name was
Robin. Yeah.
I hated that, and that was my biggest problem with all three of those movies. That was my biggest problem. Like, oh, you should use your real name more often. I like
Robin.
Yeah. That was almost as cringy as when in Star Wars this guy was like, I am the spy in The Last Jedi.
Hux.
Yeah. Dude, the audible groan from the people in the theater.
No, it wasn't Last Jedi. It was Rise, wasn't it?
Rise of the Skywalker. I apologize.
Yeah.
That's an episode on itself. But anyway.
Yeah. Oh, when we get into that, I'm rich.
That needs to be like a 2-part episode.
It could be. It could be.
We're gonna have to unpack a lot in that one episode. It's gonna be dense.
Woo.
Joey, you need to rewatch the Star Wars movies, all of them. All of them.
Kyler, what's your favorite iteration of Jason Todd?
Ooh, okay.
Mine personally.
That's an interesting question. Actually, I like that question.
Mine personally would probably be Arkham Knight in the video game. His character was dope.
Yes, I agree.
The costume, everything.
My problem with that was the way Rocksteady went about it, because they were like, "Hey, we created this new character.
Yeah,
Arkham Knight." And
but he was
like,
just
Jason Todd, and they're like, "No,
it's Arkham.
It's not. It's the Arkham Knight. It's not Jason Todd. It's the Arkham Knight." And everyone's like, "It's Jason Todd." And they're like, "No, for real. He's new. He's new. We made him for the game." And then you play the game, and he's Jason Todd. He's Red Hood, and he actually becomes Red Hood. In the game. Why did you lie about that? That was stupid.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I did have a problem with it, but that was an awesome one. My favorite one would probably be from the animated movie. I'm trying to think of the name now. On the
I know what you're talking about.
Do you remember the name of it?
I'm looking it up. I'm pretty sure it's just Red Hood.
I think it was Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood. Yeah, because doesn't it start off with Joker as Red Hood, and then okay.
And Neil Patrick Harris, fun fact, plays Nightwing in that movie.
Does he? Interesting.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job too. But that was probably my favorite. I like the way they went about it because I think it was the closest to the comic book, where they showed the progression where Jason Todd was actually like a criminal, and Batman met him when he was trying to steal the tires off of the Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
He was like gonna go pawn them off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he started training him, and he became Jason Todd, and he was like this super cocky, like I can do everything that you can do because you trained me, so I'm good. And then he would kind of just rush into things, and he wasn't prepared for when he got kidnapped by the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Tortured. Batman thought he died. He didn't. He came back for revenge. Ends up working with Batman, whole 9 yards. The general Red Hood, Jason Todd story arc, but I like the way they did it best in that movie.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the third iteration.
Which is?
Kyler, come on. You guys know. Joey, what were you going to say?
Anyway, speaking of Red Hood. Going back to the DC show, I just sent you guys a picture, but Jason Todd was in DC in the Titans, the live action one, and this, I guess, second season is coming back as Red Hood, and that's
is that him?
Yeah,
That's actually pretty
that's
cool.
interesting.
That's the costume from Arkham Knight. That's what he looks like with the leather jacket and everything like that.
Yeah. Did we talk about Tom Holland as Nathan Drake from Uncharted last episode?
No,
No,
that
but
was in our text message.
can't get
not
into that
super
now.
related.
That's not Marvel versus DC right now. But
You're right.
we will get into it. We can get into it. Another episode.
True. So
we could go into movies that are gonna be coming out soon that we may be excited about.
Eternals.
Wine thing.
Eternals.
Eternals.
Eternals. I am so excited for Eternals.
Eternals looks amazing.
That and Doctor Strange, the multiverse madness, whatever it's called.
I'm mostly excited. Obviously, is going to be Spider-Man for me. Spider-Man 3. What they can do for it, the multiverse tease, all that. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to the shows, the Disney Plus shows. Bucky, WandaVision, which they just said is pretty much like a full-blown action movie spread out into episodes. So that's going to be amazing because like we still don't even know what is happening there, you know? And then the Falcon and Winter Soldier, that's going to be an interesting dynamic too. So
no Captain America.
I think I'm with what Darian said in the first episode, where in 2020 and moving forward, give me a mini-series
over a movie,
and pretty much anything, because you can fit so much. You don't have to rush and overstuff a 2-hour movie with all this information. You can take your time with a show, and I think that's better because you can develop things more thoroughly.
Yeah,
and that's going to be interesting to see how Marvel does it, because the only show, if I'm correct, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is totally different from these new ones coming out.
Inhumans.
One season.
I've never seen it.
I don't like how
they had Daredevil, they had Luke Cage, they had
the Netflix ones,
the Netflix ones, but they said they separated it, right?
No, they were connected because in
Charlie Cox.
He wasn't in the movies or anything like that, but I remember in there was one of the shows. I don't know if it was
Punisher, they referenced
the movies as the movies were coming out at the same time.
Oh yeah, that was Punisher. Season 1
might have been. It might have been. Yeah. So they are in the same general universe. They just never cross over physically.
Huh.
Yeah, they said something like with what happened in New York last year.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I think the Doctor Strange.
Fist.
Wait, what?
Iron Fist? It's bad.
Who's
the
Iron
soap
Fist?
opera? Exactly.
Oh, that trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even waste my time. The trailers looked horrible.
That was.
I think Daredevil took the cake with those shows.
100%.
Absolutely.
Daredevil and Punisher, both of them were like the top.
Best scene, season 1 of Daredevil.
Hallway.
With the one consecutive fight, and it lasted like.
I love how realistic that is, because he was so tired. He was just like dragging himself.
And then dodging again and going like, okay, I guess I gotta go.
Dude, in season 2, they did it again, but it was 2.5 minutes. And it was in a jail, if I'm correct, a jail hallway scene.
Yeah,
and it was amazing. Like, he was sitting in the med room. Was that Punisher?
Well, it was season 2 of Daredevil. But Punisher doing it.
Camera.
Oh, okay, I don't remember. I think you might.
He got arrested.
Yeah, I think you're right. Amazing though. But going back to the Doctor Strange one, I think the multiverse madness or whatever it's going to be called, that's gonna, in my guess, is going to be that's where we get the first mention of the X-Men. That's where we get the first mention of the Fantastic Four.
A lot of doors.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's where the things start.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now going into DC, any DC movies, future movies that you might be excited about? I know it's kind of tough because all live action are a little bit. But let's see. We got the Batman.
A camera battery died.
Oh, the Robert Pattinson. Yes.
Yeah.
Give me more of that trailer. That was
no.
amazing.
Don't give me more of that trailer. Give me like a 30-second clip, or no, not even a clip, just another teaser trailer. But that's it. Just don't give me another 2-minute. I want to keep it mysterious. I like
I
mysterious.
saw this poor meme where he was like, "This henchman just got put in a wheelchair for asking who Batman was."
Pretty much.
Because Robert Pattinson, he came up the elevator, and the guy was like, "Who are you?" He was like, boom, 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 just started. He just literally made this man a quadriplegic.
I hate it, man. That was awesome.
Oh my goodness!
That movie has a stacked cast.
Yeah,
Black Adam with The Rock.
which has been in the works for like 12 years now.
But they've been teasing that more and more now. Kind of like he's been pushing it a little bit more as of recently.
That's like saying Gambit with
I think that's
Channing Tatum.
Give me Gambit, not Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
Not him.
no.
He's a trash actor. He's horrible.
Let's not derail here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But this is the only role that I think The Rock is actually allowed to use the immense strength, not in every other movie where he has immense strength for a human being.
Hercules.
Hobbs and Shaw holding a helicopter and back.
he went full Captain America mode in freaking what was it, Civil War.
Yeah, I have no expectations for Black Adam.
No.
I don't
If
either.
it's good,
Only
it'll be
because
better.
it's DC.
I don't.
That's true.
It's DC and it's The Rock. Yeah.
The Rock is. I sent you guys that meme that time.
Playing an Egyptian.
There's what he what?
It's gotta be. He's gonna be playing an Egyptian, if I'm correct, right? Black Adam's
Yeah, Black Adam's. He's in like.
I saw the backstory.
Deity.
technically he should have a thick accent. So I mean,
See how
He's gotten Rami Malek. He's Egyptian.
Voiceover.
look like Zachary Levi with the suit.
Rami Malek as Black Adam. She's like, oh my gosh. Remy here. How's it going?
That's accurate.
That's what he does. He's like, it's a pleasure to be here with you, Jimmy. Yes, Joey, you got it spot on. Yep.
Okay, anyone listening on a podcast, go to our YouTube channel to actually.
We're making faces.
Oh man. Oh man.
All right, let me hit you guys with some movie news real quick before we close out.
Yep. Give me the rundown.
Let's see. So, you guys know how every now and then a toy will come out before a movie and ruin something from that movie.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well-
So now this is spoiler warning. This is spoiler territory here.
Yes, this is spoiler territory for Marvel stuff. Funko Pop, the bobbleheads,
Mhm.
just released a new Quicksilver bobblehead from the WandaVision series.
Yes. So they did report that he's gonna be in the series.
Yes.
What?
Which
Now-
I'm not a fan of.
Now let's remember, this whole series is taking place inside of Wanda's head,
Yeah, that I guess that's
Okay.
to be expected.
which is why Vision is still there because, he's done. So
How did you create Silver Surfer?
Okay,
Yeah, give me a better Silver Surfer.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so that'll be interesting. I'm not a fan of.
I heard
That-
both Quicksilvers were cast.
Who's the other Quicksilver?
Aaron Taylor and the one from X-Men.
From like First Class.
Yes.
The-
What's his name?
Huh.
Who was Quicksilver
forget.
in First Class?
What's
I
The
forgot.
dude. Okay. Michael Scott's nephew
yes.
in The Office. Steve
He
Carell,
wa-
the one who
well-
he smacked in his rear end
Dude,
for nepotism.
what is Quicksilver's power speed?
Speed, yeah.
Oh,
remember-
yes.
Yeah,
He wasn't in First Class. That's not for.
No, it's not First Class. It's the other
Days
one.
of Future
Days of
Past.
Future Past. Yeah.
There you go.
they're all the same. Whatever.
You stop it. He was in that in Armageddon. Yeah.
But
Those scenes were amazing, where he would freeze.
Apocalypse, you mean?
Apocalypse, yeah, not Armageddon. We closing in on that too, but
What's his name? Hold up. I'm gonna find you crazy.
I hate you.
AMC just had their third quarter earnings. They lost $900 million.
Oh, buddy.
Damn.
That's
that
almost
hurts.
$1 billion.
That hurts.
The
Again.
year after the most successful ever in the movie industry.
to be expected because
Yeah.
it's not like they're raking in cash right now.
Yeah.
Even with their new system where you can rent out a theater, there's no way they're going to be able to make up. Actually, I feel like at any other time they'd be just hemorrhaging money with that deal, because we'd only be paying, like, the group that we had originally talked about maybe getting together. I think we're going to be paying what, like $10 for a ticket.
It was 10 to 12.
Yes,
We'd be
around there.
paying like $20 for a normal IMAX ticket.
Yeah.
Which is what we would usually do. So that's half off. But with that, you're just, there's no way you're going to be able to make up the money you're losing.
Yeah, no. AMC's hurting right now. Which goes to last week's conversation of how much longer they'll be able to operate like that. And I mean, we discussed it, but to see those numbers come out this quarter, I was like, dude, that's almost $1 billion loss. I don't know if, honestly, I really don't know if AMC is going to be the next Regal where they shut down all their cinemas.
I sure hope not.
I would hope that they would like start maybe shutting down their locations in more like rural areas and keep their main location. Like, I'm sure they have like one in New York and stuff like that. Like the bigger theaters that get more traffic keep open and kind of just like close off the ones in the outer reaches first.
Like Torrington.
Yeah, pretty much, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of stave off the inevitable, so to speak, before you just do across the board, just kind of shut everything down.
Evan Peters was the Quicksilver's name, by the way.
I would have never known
actor. That. Yeah, I really hope they don't. I mean, unfortunately, with this whole COVID thing, it kind of looks like the route that it's heading.
Yep. It's not going down anytime
does
soon.
It say?
Contrary to popular belief,
it was their most profitable year, and then now their worst year. Does it say, like, are they breaking even in terms of like money, or it doesn't say any of that?
No, I didn't read into any of that. I would have if I was investing in them. I just read the earnings report. But they're hurting. $900 million is
it's insane.
That's a $900 million loss.
That's just
not like
that's like one night of buying popcorn,
dude. Yeah, at AMC, that's like three large sodas and a popcorn. You're right. Next story: Natalie Portman, was interviewed and she was discussing her spot in the next Thor movie, and I think we might have discussed this a long time ago, but she's going to be the Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
What are your guys' opinions on that?
So, I'm down for it. If it's anything like the comic where Jane Foster is Thor, pretty much
pretty epic.
She is epic, but the twist is that she gets cancer, and anytime she turns into Thor, the cancer progresses and she becomes closer to dying. So that would be an interesting story arc. I don't think they're gonna go that way. I think what's gonna happen with MCU is just the multiverse. So I feel like there's gonna be Thor, and then there's gonna be her as Lady Thor or Mighty Thor, right?
Mighty Thor.
Mighty Thor, yeah. Kind of like clashing, and somehow they're gonna have to fix it.
What I want to see from this multiverse is the Ultimate Universe, which they came up with a few movies a few years ago, the animated movies for Avengers, and it's where like Thor is missing an arm, so he has like a prosthetic robotic arm. Black Widow is actually a spy for, I think it was Hydra. She's like really, really bad, and she ends up like betraying the Avengers and stuff like that. It's kind
of like the Flashpoint of Avengers.
Of Avengers. If you guys get a chance, homework, go watch those movies. I think there's 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a comic book.
You're not the boss of me. I'm not doing homework.
Step off.
What's our time, if I may ask?
We're at 1:50, so we should kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
We'll have many more episodes talking about superheroes in the future. If you got this far, leave in the comments who your favorite superhero is. Darren, don't worry about it.
I think we can do an entire separate episode on just Marvel and the experiences we've had in the theaters and stuff like that. I think that could be, in the future. And for the people listening right now, if you're still here, we're going to be doing, I think tier lists would be a really cool idea. So for example, we take all the Marvel movies and we put them from S tier being the absolute most amazing all the way down to Thor 2 and Captain Marvel. And we'll just do
Iron Man 3. Yeah.
That would be like,
Iron Man 3.
That would be like F tier, right? F tier.
Yeah, I forget, honestly. There's S, A, B, C, D. I don't know if we need to go down that far.
Okay,
yeah, pretty much. And then we're going to have a Star Wars episode soon. The next episode is going to be our favorite movies and shows.
With a special guest.
With a special guest.
True.
He knows who he is. So.
Yeah. So I think that's about everything. Am I right?
Yeah.
We covered a lot today. A lot.
It's a wrap on episode 2, boys.
Episode 2. Yeah, pretty long episode. Thank you for sticking with it. I am going to be putting timestamps in the description for those YouTube viewers. That way you can jump around if there's something specific you want to hear. And again, before we sign off, just again, thank you for all your support. Really, we really appreciate it. You can find us at the Lightpole Podcast on Instagram. And you can also email us at the lightpolepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us with any questions, comments, concerns you have regarding the podcast. And as
tips,
always,
ideas.
Yeah. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Lights out on the Lightpole Podcast.